Let's start the video with a small note. That is, when there is a change or correction to what is presented in this video, we will update it in the description. So please keep checking the description as well before you proceed to the video so that you will know what are the latest changes. Okay, now let's move on. Welcome to TestTube, the knowledge feast. In this channel, we create the content that educate others. The mission is basically to gather like-minded people of different platforms and create variety of content at one place. So if you are also want to be a part of it from any corner in the world, please drop an email to sharetesttube@gmail.com. Previously, we have discussed on how to work with get, post, put, patch and delete requests in Postman tool. Now we are going to see the basic automation, API automation, which you can do by a Postman feature called snippets. So after this session, you will feel how easy it is to automate test cases in Postman. So if you are into an assumption that automation is something which is not for manual testing, this is the video you must watch, which will give you a confidence that okay, anybody can do automation. So now let's go to the Postman tool. Okay, this is the basic get user request which we have worked on yesterday, and the other requests like post put. Now I just copied this one and created another request and renamed it to get users using snippet. So how do you do it is go to this three dots and there you can click on duplicate. It will create you a duplicate request with the same details, with the same parameters, everything. So I just copied it that way, and after that you can rename it using rename field here. Okay, so now I got this new request which is get users using snippets. Now okay, so this is same, you can just run the get request and you will get a response like this. So as a manual tester, what you do is you will validate this entire API. For example, let's say this get users request is intended to display a list of users that are stored in the second page. Then this is the response. So it says it is second page and the records per page are 16. In total there are 12 records, which means that probably the first page may have 6 records and the second page is having another next 6 records. Total pages, like I said, yeah, it is 2 pages, and this is the data of the users. So this is the email ID, first name, last name, and the picture. So what do you validate in this response is, for example, you will validate is it showing the correct total number of pages or not, is it showing the total number of records correctly or not. And further, what you also can verify is, for example, if you are looking for a particular user on second page, then you will go for example, if you are looking for Lindsay, then it will verify this record, Lindsay is present or not, and Lindsay's email ID is correct or not, and all the details you can select. For example, if you wanted to verify the record of user having ID equal to 10, then you will go to user having ID equal to 10, and then you will verify his username is, his first name is Byron or not, and you will verify the email also. So this is how you do the verification manually, right? But for example, let's imagine that there are 10 pages and you have to verify all the 10 pages, and all the 10 pages are having similar information, like are having the same fields with the different values, of course. So in that case, what you actually do is you will verify this field, you will verify this field, you will verify first name, you will verify email ID associated to a particular user. So this is a repetitive task that you will do for all the 10 pages, right? So instead of doing it this repeatedly, this comes in the automation. So with the help of automation, if you have automated the verifications, the checkpoints with the help of tests, then what you have to do is you just have to run that particular test case, and you don't have to come this screen and verify all these expected results manually. Instead, the test which you have written which you have automated, they are doing the verification for you. So that is why you go for the automation. Now we have discussed why, the question why you have to automate. Now let us discuss how do you do it in Postman. So in the previous session we have discussed like all the tabs present here in a particular request, in any request. There we spoke about tests. So this is the place where you can define the test cases, defining what is the verification point you wanted to validate, and then you can execute the request, and the test case will be run after the response, and it will be validating the checkpoints which you have defined here. So that is the purpose of these tests. Now how you can write tests is by coding, and for the people who are not familiar with coding, there is this particular feature called snippets. So when you navigate to the other tabs, you won't find this feature, but when you go to tests or prerequisite scripts, you will find this feature. Snippets is displayed to the right side of the screen. Okay, so now we know that using snippets we can define the test cases. Now let's see how to use the snippets over here. So there are these many lists of snippets over here. Okay, but we'll cover some of the important snippets in this first session, and there are other snippets which will be discussed differently at a separate place. There we'll discuss. For example, if you see all these snippets, get environment variable, global variable, get a variable, get a collection variable, all these are related to variables. So what do we do is, let us leave these variable related snippets and let us cover them when we are talking about variables in a different session. Okay, I am not discussing about the variables snippets now. Now let's start with the send request snippet. So if you click on send request snippet, you will see some piece of code added here. So what this is going to do is, it is going to send the request, and the URL for the request is this one. This is a sample URL, and the result is displayed in the console log. So you can replace this particular URI with this particular original URI which you wanted to test, and you can keep that as a checkpoint. But we will discuss in detail what this particular snippet is more about. Now let's talk about the other snippets which we are going to use now in this particular test case. So this is a snippet which is for validating the code. So we have discussed what are the verifications that we are going to do. Apart from those, there are certain standard verifications that are applicable for any request that you run, which is verifying the status code of that request, whether it is a success or failure. You can see this request is 200 OK, and you can see the response type of the request, response time of the request. That is also a common feature which you will validate for any API request. So this is the snippet code which is to verify the status code. This is the test name, so you can keep the test name however you want. Here I am just replacing for you to know that okay, it is actually working with the actual text I am keeping here. Verify the status code. So this particular test, what I have written here, this is basically to verify the status code of the request. So that's the name I have given to this one, verify the status code. Now this snippet is done, so you can just run this. So you see you got the response, and there is this particular tab which is test results in the response window. Go to that result. It says 1 out of 1 test case is passed. The test case name is to verify the status code. See, I have replaced the text with a default text, and you can see the test case description over here, and this is a pass. So this is how you can validate the test cases or checkpoints. And if you can change the expected result to 201, which means that when you run this particular test case, you are expecting 201 as the response. So that is what the test case is talking about. So the test is run, you got the body, you see the status is 200, but you are expecting the status to be 201, right? That means the test case should fail. So that is why it says the test case is failed. You can see this button like, okay, we'll discuss these buttons later. So that means that okay, the snippet is working as it is supposed to work, right? So this is about the status code. Similarly, let us see the other snippets. Let us talk about response body contains the string. So okay, this is again the test case name. Verify, okay, to verify that body matches the string or not. So what it means by the name is it will verify that particular text is present in this response or not. For example, let's say I wanted to verify this email ID. So what I'm going to verify is I'm not going to verify that this particular is having this email ID. I'm just verifying that this entire response will have this email ID or not. That is what I'm going to verify. Okay, so this is what this snippet will do. And this one is response body JSON value check. So now another set of lines are added here. What this is verifying is, okay, I'll keep this as test one. So this is verifying the values of the JSON value of a request. Okay. So now what is the difference between this one and contain strings? Okay, here you are verifying that particular string is there in the entire response or not. Here you have been giving a precise instruction on what to verify in this entire response. So this entire response is collected in a JSON object which is called JSON data here, and you can go to verify a particular field. For example, if you wanted to verify the total pages here, so you can keep total pages here, and you wanted to validate that the total pages displayed are 2 or not. So this is the expected result for this particular field. So here you are verifying the particular field, but here you are verifying whether this string is present in this entire body or not. So that's the basic difference. So here you can, for example, you can verify this particular, you can verify the total. So these are the checkpoints which we have discussed, right? Manually you're verifying. So you can keep adding more snippets of same nature to verify different fields. So you're verifying total pages, you are verifying the total records are 12 or not. So like this you can go on adding the different values which you wanted to verify in the JSON response. Okay, so that's about JSON value check of a response. Now response body equals to a string. So this is to verify the entire response body is equal to a string or not. We will see this in the coming sessions more. And this snippet is to verify about the header. So this is to verify what is present in the header. So this is not actually validating a certain field in the header. Instead it is verifying these particular fields are not present or not. So I'm verifying whether content type is present or not. So these things will be more beneficial in case of security testing. So that is why it is important to know verify the headers are there or not. So I'm going to verify content type is present in the header or not. Okay, that is this snippet, and this snippet is to verify the response time. So the response time of a request is below 200 milliseconds or not. Okay, here it took 212 milliseconds. So this should fail. I'm telling that it should be below 200, right? So for example, when I run it again, if it took 212 seconds, this particular step should fail. Okay, that is about the response type. This is about post request status code verification. We'll discuss later. And code name has a string or not, we'll discuss it later. Convert XML body to JSON object. This we will discuss when it is a right test case, when we have the right time to discuss about it. So, and this is about tiny validator. This is basically to validate the schema of the API which you are testing. So for this I have made already different videos. You can go to my channel, you can go to this channel, go to playlist, and you can view the full playlist for REST API automation using Postman, and there you can see different videos, but these are not in line. Okay, so here you see JSON schema validation using AJV, JSON schema validation using tiny validator. So you can go through these videos. These are very informative and most important videos when it comes to validating the schema of an API. Okay, right, so these are all about snippets, and these are the most frequently used verifications when it comes to any API testing. Okay, there is nothing as a concept new that you are verifying in an API response. Mostly you will verify various fields, whether they are associated to a particular user or not. So association of a field to a particular user needs some more scripting to be written, but these are again the same fundamentals which you will use inside those scripts also. So these are the test cases. Now let me run this. So it ran and test results are 5 passed out of 6. So we'll see status code verification success 200, 200. You are verifying for this particular email ID, that is pass. Test case 1, okay, I should name it as test case 2. Since I named test case 1, both the points both are success. That total pages are matching to 2 and total records are matching to 12. This is success. And the next text is whether the header contains content type or not. So it says that it contains content type, and like we thought, it is verifying the response is less than 200 or not, but you can see the response time is 267, which is greater than 200. That's why it has failed. Now let me change this to 300, and let us verify all the snippets are working as they are supposed to or not. Just why to assume that okay, the default scripts which I have just used is working or not. So let us fail the test cases. So I am changing the total records to be expected as 10, and I am changing the expected number of total pages to 3. I am verifying for this text instead of .in, I am verifying this particular email ID which is with .i, and where I keep this as it is. Now let me run and see how many test cases are passed and failed. Okay, out of 6 test cases 3 are passed, so status code verification success. Okay, the match string is also success. So here we didn't give .in, but still it is success. And just think why it is success, because it is looking for this string to be present or not, but not it is going to validate it is a correct email ID or not. So simple thing is, yes, this particular text is present. You can see this particular text till I, it is present or not. Yes, right, that's why it is success. For example, if you replace it with I comma it followed by it, then it should fail, because such text as this is not existing at all, but till I this text was present, even though it is .in but not .i, it is success because it is present till .i, right? So that's the difference between verify for matching the string or verifying for the particular value. For example, if you do the same validation for the other fields, okay, it will fail. Okay, anyways, I am not validating verify for the JSON check, so that's why you can't see it. Okay, instead I am verifying the values to be 3, so it is not 3, that's why that particular test case has failed. That particular test has failed. Similarly, I am validating that it is verifying for 10, but it was 12, that's why it has failed. Similarly, content type, I am verifying for content dash TPE, but it is actually the header is content TYPE, that's why this also failed. So which means that okay, our snippets are working even though we test with the negative data, right? So this is how easy it is to automate the test cases in Postman using this beautiful feature called snippets. So there will be, of course, many other complex scenarios which can't be achieved by snippets, wherein you have to add little more scripting. So Postman runs on JavaScript, so you have to add some JavaScript related code. We'll see in the upcoming sessions. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for watching the video. For more videos like this, do subscribe to the channel and share it to your friends. You can also visit the playlist in the channel, and those who like to read the content can visit the blog forversetails.blogspot.com. And for any queries or you want to join us, drop an email to sharetesttube@gmail.com. Bye for now. Stay tuned for more content.